All right, hello Internet. So we are going to go over the B3 on Big Daddy and the Blue Note song No Mo. Again, recorded 12 years ago. We got Softube Dirty Tape, Waves F6, Softube British Class A, the RS127, and another Waves F6. See what I'm doing there? Just for a little bit of fixing that was apparent after I was doing all that other stuff. All right, let me show you what's going on without any processing. All right. We'll start with the F6. So first in line here is the dirty tape, but I'm not going to start with that. Oh, that's a little weird looking. We'll start with the F6 and then the British Class A. We'll add the dirty tape in after. So starting off with the F6. Ton of low end. We'll turn that on. There. We'll bring that up to about 150. Do that there. All right. Sorry, talking to myself. Way too much low end on this bad boy. So first thing I did was turn it off. Fifth band. Okay. I'm experimenting sometimes with just simplifying my process and doing the F6 as both an EQ and the dynamic EQ. The RTA is on it is great. The EQ function, I mean, I got 6 bands to work with, plus a high and low pass, and dynamic functions. It's fantastic, simple, plug-in, great to use. I typically separate the two out, so I typically will do dynamic processing with the dynamic EQ later, partly because I like dynamics processing, dynamic EQ processing for what I call trouble spots, or things that I want to tame or change in time domain realms. So things that get out of control occasionally, or when they hit a note really hard, or I don't want a static EQ on it, hence you want a dynamic EQ. Most of the time, I find that to be in spots that I don't already have the EQ really focused in, or it's not like the center of my bell curve or whatever. So I save my dynamic EQ for those sections. What you'll usually see, is something like, throw this F6 blank. See how this is blank? The EQ section typically will be flat, and then as the sound's going on, you'll see the dips start to pop in. Sort of like this. This is an example, not part of the song. So I'll only be doing boosts or cuts as the instrument is being played, but not really doing them static. I save my static for other times. Anyway, this was an experiment with not doing that. So first off, too much low end. So I ended up with a shelf at 360 hertz, and then a boost at 1138. No dynamics on this one. So it's sort of similar to a tilt EQ, which I should get one of those. Tonelux has a great one. Turn this off. And that was it there. That's all I was doing. Just using it as an EQ. All right, British Class A. So drive here, compression and limiting, no EQ. Boost the input gain, so I'm actually going to bring it down because the signal was a bit softer than I wanted. And let's just disable these. We'll show it with just the input and the drive. All right. Let me 6.7. Before I do that, I'm just going to move this over here because I'm going to ruin it. Okay. Here's without. Silly me. So I went +6, -6 just to trigger the compressor a little better. So that's all I was doing. See, replace that there. All right. Yep, that's exactly what I was doing. All right, so ignore that. The reason I did that was to play with my compressor threshold, have it hit a little harder. See how it's just +8. That's still pretty good. All right, let me bring this drive up. Too much. There we go. So obviously, sonically, not like you're not hearing a ton, but it's just adding a little more oomph, a little more saturation, a little smoother of a sound. All right, let's turn on the compressor. So compressor, 3-to-1, or not 3-to-1. So the compressor, 3 millisecond attack, 2-to-1 ratio. Just brought it in till hitting here. Yep, 2 dB gain reduction, just a little bit of taming. Same thing on the limiter. A little heavier. Let's turn this off. A little smoother, a little beefier sounding. All right. Next up, we're going to throw on the dirty tape. And this is to get this grit in there that you don't actually have. So let me throw this in the mix. I'll show you what I'm doing. Turn it up. So it's sticking out a little better. This is playing a lot with your mids and low mids. Let me show this again. Just adding some very, very dirty tape saturation to it, just really dirtying up this track. This is what's making it bluesy. And this 127, 2.7K, 4 dB boost. This is to add top end. So with this mix, the B3 wasn't cutting. Typically when I hear B3 in my head, it has a lot more mids and high mids than what's going on here. Problem with the normal EQ, if I'm boosting like around 3K like this, like 2.7, it gets really harsh. This this little Abbey Road pack is fantastic for that. Works as advertised, which is adding top end without adding harshness. Let me show you what turned out there. So. Oh. Turn that back down. See how that cuts? Yeah. Okay. Here's without, or here's with. Here's without. Yep, adds a lot more top end, or high mids rather. All right, here, second band. There is a frequency. This gets a little overpowering. It's without. So that's it. That's just there to tame that one note. Just gets a little much. That's about it. Okay, let's do some experimenting with this B3. So let's start. Let's do simple. Let's simple it down. I did a lot there. We will move on to the REQ6. We'll just do a basic EQ, huh? Now, since I actually want this low end here, I'm just going to, that's as high as I'm going to put that high pass filter. We're going to take this we're going to turn this into a low shelf. There. Here it's still got a lot of low end on it. And as you see, as the RTA is moving, I'm just going to use the RTA that's on here. Got some presence here. But it's like my low end, especially stuff I don't want, it's going to be sub 300 hertz. So let's bring this up to about 300. You see it starting right there. Oh, 400. So you see a note popping up right there. That's definitely seems to be pretty predominant. All right, we're going to take this take band number 4. You see there's a lot going on right here. It's 8 and 1,000. Sweet. Yep. That's sort of your B3, or where my brain sort of wants to sit on a B3. So we're going to do that. We're going to shelf it. Widen that out. Widen out. There we go. Now the reason I'm not boosting here, gets a little crackly. See how harsh that is? But maybe, just maybe, we will, for funsies, add a little bit of boost. All right, and on the course of keeping it stupid, let's do a compressor. Let's be really simple. Let's go stock. Why not? Well, not stock. No, that's not what I wanted. Great unit, R compressor. Since I keep talking up these Renaissance units, let's do 3-to-1 ratio. All right. I'll put the tack at what, 6? Pretty fast. Let's go to the chorus. Drop this down a bit more. And I still want more top end. So let's see what we can do about that. Let's do some saturation, huh? What have we got? Harmonic. There we go. Berg's going to be nuts. The black... Ooh, that's going to be a little insane. J37. Be simple. Since we're talking about tapes. Where is the saturation? Too much. Let's have some fun, shall we? All right, let's see what that ended up with. All right, so there's still too much low end. Drop this down a bit more. And I do want a little bit, just like something, saturation. We're just going to do it. This is why I put this here in the first place. Rock. All right, now. Not bad. I think I like what I ended up with a little bit better, but you don't know till you experiment. So here's what we ended up with first round. Let's bring it in. Okay, one of these times where the experiment did not work out as well as what I ended up with, which is why I ended up with what I did. So anyway, in review, dirty tape. This was the big one. Well, not the big one. They're all big. REQ here, which actually ended up being pretty close to what I did on the experiment. British Class A, it's this drive. That's what did it. And then the 127 rack. All right, that's it for now. I've got to run. Next time we're going to do some vocals, which hopefully I will track same day. We'll see how the rest of my day goes. Anyway, see you all later. If you guys have any questions, feel free to comment. If you have any concerns, feel free to comment. If you don't like it, don't comment. Anyway, please like and subscribe. If you need any audio work done, you know who to talk to. Thanks. Bye.